Yo, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another What If video, and in today's What If video, we'll be doing part 6 of What If Sonic and Miraculous were in the same universe. Now, if you haven't seen the first 5 parts of this, I recommend you do, but I'll give a brief recap of what happened last time. In part 5, we saw Marionette struggle with her balancing her life both as Ladybug and as civilian life, which resulted in her breaking up with Luca. Around the same time, both Optigami broke up. Alongside this, the heroes all encounter Master Soup Han a little while later, who, although ended up thinking that Marionette was not a good fit to be the Guardian of the Miraculous, with the help of the Sonic Cat, he was able to convince him that both Ladybug and Cat Noir are in fact good holders, Marionette and Adrian, and allow Marionette to keep the box and defeat Wong Fu, who had been akumatized because of him. However, not long after, both Dr. Eggman and Shadow Moth headed up into space to awaken Dark Gaia, and as a result, Sonic, Ladybug, and Cat Noir gained Dark Gaia forms, as I like to call them. And after the trio fell down to Earth and met their new friendship, and were able to meet up with Tails and Rich and Carapace, the heroes set off to put a stop to the evil duo's latest scheme. And alongside this, along the way, they managed to help Chip remember who he is. As it turns out, Chip was like Gaia, the opposite of Dark Gaia. And in the end, the heroes managed to defeat Dark Gaia, but at the cost of Chip having to stay at the Earth's core. But with all that out of the way, let's jump right back in to where we left off. As the events of Sonic Unleashed fade into the preceding weeks, some interesting stuff has happened for our heroes. For one, Marionette's class has been trying to help her get closer to Adrian. Along with this, the Sonic cast has also been doing it as well, with the exception of Sonic himself, amongst the other people like Shadow. Especially since Sonic himself isn't really all into the whole lovey-dovey type thing. Alongside this, Adrian's beginning to prepare for the gala his father will be hosting. All the while, Dr. Eggman and Gabriel and Seeker crafted the next big plan after the Dark Gaia incident failed. Alongside this, Sonic has gotten a brand new book, this book being on King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. All the while, Chloe knows the class and Sonic cast are trying to help Marionette get closer to Adrian, and is coming up with a plan to prevent Marionette from getting any closer to Adrian. We open up as we see both Shadow Moth and Dr. Eggman in their lair discussing their next move. After the defeat of Dark Gaia, with Eggman going over potential plans they could do to stop both Sonic and Ladybug. All the while trying to figure out how certain people haven't been able to get akumatized recently. It's almost like something is protecting them. Eggman would then throw out this suggestion. Perhaps it could have something to do with the Chaos Emerald, since the Chaos Emeralds have positive energy in them. Maybe both Sonic and Ladybug use them to protect civilians. But that can't work, since it's pretty clear they don't have all of them, since after the defeat of Dark Gaia. So it has to be something else. What is it, is the question. No matter. Soon we'll figure out how they're being protected, and then we can counteract it. Agreed, Doctor. But I must leave. I have to get ready for the night. Ah, yes, you're hosting your gala tonight for your club members, and your nephew who stole your ring is coming over, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and I need to get that ring back. Let me know if you need help in getting the ring back. No, you don't. I'm sure I can handle this myself. Then leaves, deactivating his transformation, and has the same conversation with Emily he had in the original episode. Then goes to speak with Natalie and also has the same conversation with her as he did in the original episode. Meanwhile, Marionette's friends are in the middle of discussing a plan for Marionette to reveal her crush on Adrian. However, Chloe explains how she recorded the plan and is going to show Adrian's father this. This way, Adrian can go back to homeschool. However, both Sonic and Amy end up cutting in, with Sonic saying, That is messed up. Besides, weren't you excited that Adrian was going to be able to go to public school either way?
Be better off alone at home than surrounded by a bunch of lamos at school. And then maybe he'll be lucky enough to go back to being my Prince Charming, whom I've always adored.
You know, considering the fact that she willingly worked with 2 villains, I'm not surprised that she's attempting something like this, if I'm being completely honest.
I was never your Prince Charming, Chloe. We'll see about that, Duped Chang. Sabrina, Ninja Smokescreen.
Chloe and Sabrina then leave as the group come up with a plan for Marionette to sneak into the party and delete the footage on her phone. However, Sonic would then break in with him saying, Both me and Shadow could probably help you out, Marionette. You and Shadow are attending the party? Well, I'm not, but Shadow is. Why is Shadow going to the party? Well, Shadow has been tasked to go to the party to see if he can find someone that resembles Shadow Moth. From what Gunn has gathered, it seems that whoever Shadow Moth is, they're very wealthy, and the gun commander managed to get Shadow to the party. But I could probably help you sneak in. Really? Yeah, besides, do we really want to let Chloe win? The group comes up with the plan, and while the party's getting started and Gabriel's greeting his guests, with the help of Sonic, Marionette manages to sneak in, and the two of them are in the middle of planning how they're going to steal Chloe's phone. Meanwhile, Gabriel goes to greet all his guests, specifically Shadow. Shadow the Hedgehog, it's an honor having you here. Thank you, Mr. Agrest. It's an honor being here. Thank you, but pardon me for asking, why did the gun commander want to get you into this party? Well... However, before Shadow can explain, Gabriel's sister-in-law interrupts the conversation, allowing Shadow to slip away and quickly find a place to hide. This way he can communicate with Rouge. Shadow, come in. Did you manage to get into the party? I'm in, and Mr. Agrest is currently distracted, so I can begin to look around and try to find out who Shadowmoth is. Good luck. If you need backup, Omega's on standby. Shadow then begins to sneak around to try and figure out who Shadowmoth is by trying to match videos, specifically voices from the videos, and height. And while that's happening, Gabriel pulls Felix aside and they have the same original conversation they had in the original episode, with Felix still giving Gabriel the fake ring and listening in on Gabriel and Natalie's conversation, before being forced to go with Adrian, as Natalie suggests making a Sentimonster version of himself, with Eggman cutting in saying, "Would more than likely draw away any suspicion, but be more careful. Your nephew is a very intelligent young man from what I've seen. He could outsmart you." "'Tis true, Doctor, but I think I can get away with it, and this is the best option." Shadowmoth then creates a Sentimonster version of himself as Eggman prepares some bad next to his sis as the Sentimonster Gabriel goes to talk to Felix, and everything there pretty much plays out the same, while Shadow's in the middle trying to figure out who Shadowmoth is as he's trying to match voices and height, but ends up noticing both Sonic and Marionette in disguise. Shadow then quickly pulls him aside with him asking, "What are you two doing here?" "We're trying to delete footage from Chloe's memory card so Adrian doesn't have to go back to homeschooling." "And yet you two disguise yourselves like this. Huh. I'm honestly surprised you two haven't even got caught yet." However, before Shadow could continue, the akumatized Sentimonster Gabriel appears and begins to attack as Shadow dodges his attack and fires a barrage of chaos spheres and quickly pulls out a chaos emerald and says, "Chaos control!" He quickly roundhouse kicks the akumatized Sentimonster, while Sonic quickly spin dashes into him, followed up by him boosting into him, as both Merlin and Adrian hide so they can transform. Alongside this, Omega quickly arrives on the scene and begins on a gunfire, which the Sentimonster collects and dodges and absorbs. However, both Ladybug and Cat Noir arrive as the two help Sonic, Shadow, and Omega dodge attacks. Fight back as Ladybug throws her yo-yo, sending the akumatized Sentimonster flying back. As Sonic spin dashes into him, and Shadow then ends up throwing a chaos sphere. Ladybug then calls on and gets a trampoline, but she quickly uses her lucky vision to quickly realize what she needs to do. And from there, everything plays out mostly the same to the original episode, just with the Sonic cast helping there, and thus they managed to do it a lot quicker. And they managed to find the Akuma and purify it. Everything then turns back to normal as the heroes turn their attention to the Sentimonster Gabriel, and Ladybug makes a magical charm to protect him, with essentially her explaining how she will be protected from him. The heroes then leave, but Shadow looks at the Sentimonster Gabriel suspiciously, noticing how certain things don't add up, but ends up leaving, but with him making mental notes to allowed to keep an eye on Gabriel Agrest. Alongside this, we cut back to both Eggman and Shadowmoth, with Eggman saying, "So that's what's been protecting people from getting akumatized." "Yes, it is. Doctor, can you figure out a way Ladybug was able to create that?" "Think I can, but since Ladybug managed to create something to protect people from akumas, that must mean the miraculous is stronger than we thought, including yours." The duo laughs and they plan their next move. From there, everything mostly plays the same all the way up to Optigami, where Eggman, Gabriel, and Natalie discuss their hero's identity they know of, with Eggman putting together, with him explaining, "This is all the identities that we've learned thanks to the akumatization of Chloe Bourgeois as Miracle Queen." "Yes, I remember. Excellent work, Doctor." Natalie would also begin to go into detail on how she managed to create Optigami to spy on the heroes whose identities they know of, along with the Sonic cast, specifically Shadow, as they've grown more and more suspicious of Shadow after he showed up at Gabriel's party. It was only let in because the gun commander pushed to get Shadow in. So they're starting to get more and more suspicious that Shadow might have started to figure them out. However, Natalie also informs them that she hasn't been able to figure out who Ladybug is, but Gabriel cuts in with him saying, "On the contrary, I believe that it will help us finally discover who is behind Ladybug's mask." He's right. Plus, from what we've gathered, there's a flaw when the holders get the miraculouses back. The doctor's right. There, imagine if Optigami was hiding in the miraculouses Ladybug took back. It would lead us straight to a home, unknowingly. And it could also help us find where Sonic and his friends are staying, and we could ambush and defeat them. Brilliant move. But how could you do that plan? I need an event where all the holders and the Sonic heroes will be sure to come, and a supervillain who will force Ladybug to assign a Miraculous if she wants to defeat it, and I know just the right person for it. Do you want me to have an army of Badniks on standby? Yes, Doctor, and have Metal Sonic on standby if we need him. Eggman will then begin to work on Badniks, while also giving Metal Sonic a few upgrades as Gabriel puts his plan into action. Meanwhile, we cut to all the Miraculous holders and the Sonic cast arriving at the event, where both Alia and Amy are trying to help Marinette get close to Adrian. But Sonic cuts in with him saying, well, shouldn't we let Marinette get close to Adrian on her own instead of making her uncomfortable? Sonic, stay out of this. Besides, you know a thing about love. I may not know a thing about love, but I can tell you're making her uncomfortable, as the look she has on her face is the exact same look I give you when you try to flirt with me. The heroes make it to the stage where the show will be held, as well as Eggman and Shadow put their plan into action as they create a Sentimonster version of the announcer, as Badniks gets to the building with Metal Sonic hiding outside the building on standby. The Sentimonster version of the announcer begins to mock Audrey Bourgeois, as the audience laughs cruelly, minus Marinette, Ollie, and Nito in the Sonic cast, with Shadow in particular looking at the announcers suspiciously, with him thinking, it's almost like the announcer is trying to cause an akumatization. Could he be an ally to both Eggman and Shadowmoth? Or is he a Sentimonster? However, it's too late, as Audrey Bourgeois has already been akumatized into Style Queen and has already neutralized Optigami. Alongside this, Badniks have also started attacking, but the Sonic attack has begun destroying them, with Sonic and Knuckles beginning to fight Style Queen, as both Merlin and Adrian go find a place to transform. However, both Zoe and Chloe get hit as Sonic spin-dashes into Style Queen, while Knuckles punches her in the face, sending her flying back, as Espio throws Ninja Stars on her, and Charm uses stings on her. However, this backfires on Charm as he gets hit and turns into glitter. Alongside this, both Marinette and Adrian get trapped inside of an elevator, and as Vector goes to try and save them and break them out. Alongside Omega, they both get hit by Style Queen, as Marinette tells the Kwamis to contact Alia and use the Horse Miraculous to help her get into her room, and get the Fox Miraculous, along with the Bee Miraculous, and the Snake Miraculous, and Turtle Miraculous, which she manages to do, as a Sentimonster version of Nino is created and tricks Alia to give him the Turtle Miraculous, as Alia then finds Sonic and hits on the Snake Miraculous, and they manage to get both Marinette and Adrian out, allowing the two of them to go hide and transform. Meanwhile, the Sonic cast are struggling to take on Style Queen. At this point, Tails, Knuckles, Cream, Big, and Amy have all been hit, and all that's left is Shadow, Espio, Rouge, and General. Alongside this, all the other Miraculous holders except Marinette, Adrian, Ollie, and Nina have all been hit as well. However, Ladybug, now as Lady B, arrives alongside Sonic, Snake, and Rain Rouge. Lady B then ends up whispering, and ends up getting a mirror, and ends up looking around. However, she doesn't realizing she doesn't really see anything she could do with it, with her mirror, and ends up saying, weird, I think I could beat Style Queen without my lucky charm. Well, the important thing is to beat her no matter what. How about you call back your illusion? Raina Rouge calls off the illusion as Lady B, Sonic Snake, and Sentimonster Carapace ambush Style Queen, as Lady B calls on Venom! Style Queen, however, ends up hitting Lady B, but Sonic Snake quickly calls on Second Chance! Once time is reset, Sonic Snake would have saying, Carapace, you need to use Shelter. Sentimonster Carapace nods his head and ends up calling on Shelter! Style Queen keeps shooting at both Lady B and Sonic Snake, but Sentimonster Carapace quickly calls off the shield, and Lady B ends up immobilizing Style Queen and calls off Pollen, quickly provides the Akuma. However, it ends up handing Audrey a magical charm. However, once everything turns back to normal, that's when Dr. Eggman would call on Metal Sonic. Metal, now! And right before Ladybug, Raina Rouge, Sonic Snake, and Sentimonster Carapace make their exit, Metal Sonic appears, catching them all off guard as Sonic Snake will spin dash into Metal Sonic with them saying, good to see you, Metal. Ugly as usual, I see. However, Metal Sonic quickly activates his black shield and attempts to steal the Snake Miraculous from Sonic, before Shadow comes in and Chaos blasts them, and Ladybug throws her yo-yo at Metal Sonic, and Raina Rouge creates an illusion, and Cat Noir then calls on and prepares to destroy Metal. However, Metal dodges the attacks and grabs a piece of furniture and throws it at Cat Noir, forcing him to cataclysm that. But Ezio quickly throws Ninja Stars at him, as Sonic quickly boosts him into the wall. And soon, Metal Sonic begins to get overwhelmed and makes a retreat, as both Ladybug, Raina Rouge, Sentimonster Carapace, and Sonic Snake take their leave alongside Cat Noir. And when all you need to give Sonic and Ladybug back their Miraculouses, that's when Ladybug realizes that this isn't the real Nino and manages to destroy the Sentimonster with the help of both Sonic and Cat Noir. And Ladybug decides to let Ollie keep the Fox Miraculous permanently, as Gabriel, Eggman, and Natalie discuss their next move. We don't know our enemies well enough. Alia Cersei seems to have special studs in the organization Ladybug has set up since she became Guardian. It's time for us to take an interest in her. Natalie smiles and nods in agreement as Gabriel turns his attention towards Eggman. Doctor, are you planning our next big move? Yes, though this will take more time, but it will be worth it. Eggman laughs evilly as they plan their next big move. We then cut to a few weeks later as we see Sonic, Ladybug, Cat Noir, Rena Rouge out on patrol, searching for new akumas as Sonic gets himself 2 chili dogs. However, before the 4 of them came back to patrolling, a portal opens below their feet and they fall through, and the events of Sonic and the Black Knight can finally begin. We then see the 4 heroes fall through a portal and fall on the ground as the 4 of them manage to quickly get back up and look around, with Sonic asking, "Hey, where are we?" A girl then approaches the 4 heroes. "Beings from a distant world, forgive my abrupt summons." Wait, you summoned? However, before Ladybug can finish, Sonic eats one of his chili dogs and ends up saying,
"Oh, I get it. No problem."
"We're used to stuff like this." Sonic tosses his chili dog in the air and rushes toward the minions and quickly takes them out and catches his last chili dog. Merlin stands there shocked while Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Rena Rouge simply smile as Sonic spins his chili dog in his hand and prepares to attack the Black Knight along with Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Rena Rouge. But Merlin ends up hurting them all back, what they are saying. Merlina then ends up casting a spell as she, Sonic, Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Rena Rouge all disappear. The Black Knight places his sword back into his scabbard and flies up to a cliff, and there are 3 knights kneeling down to him. The Black Knight then ends up saying,
"I shall give chase. Spread out and go after them. Slay them on sight."
The 3 knights nod, and the Black Knight flies away, and all 3 get up as they prepare to give chase to the group. Meanwhile, the heroes and Merlina begin to talk and introduce themselves, as Merlina begins to go into detail on how the Black Knight, who is King Arthur, can't be wounded since he has the scabbard of Excalibur, and the only way to stop him is by getting the scared sword, which resides in Misty Lake. And as the heroes head off, as Merlina also hands Sonic a gauntlet, and a short while later they find a sword. As Merlina explains how its name is Excalibur, and Sonic picks it up. However, Excalibur ends up speaking up with him, saying,
Chosen one, you are but a squire.
"That doesn't sound like a friendly sword." "You said it, milady."
Sword has a mind of its own.
Yeah, well, it's got a pretty smart mouth on it for a sword.
The impertinent one is you, knave. Brace yourself, or I shall train you until you are willing.
King Arthur then appears as Sonic holds Excalibur and ends up saying,
All right, Professor. Work your magic.
The fight begins as Sonic charges forward and clashes with King Arthur. Sonic attempts to cut King Arthur's sword in half, but King Arthur throws Sonic back. Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Rena Rouge attempt to help Sonic, but like Merlin said, their attacks have no effect, as it's simply tossed aside by King Arthur. As he continues to clash with Sonic in a tense fight, Rena Rouge gets an idea and creates an illusion to trick King Arthur, allowing Sonic to get some hits in. However, King Arthur quickly realizes what Rena Rouge is doing and hits her with his sword, throwing her back and knocked out. And as Cat Noir prepares a cataclysm, King Arthur strikes both him and Ladybug down, as the 2 fall on the ground, knocked out as he continues his duel with Sonic. Eventually, Sonic and King Arthur stare each other down as the trio of Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Rena Rouge regain consciousness, as Sonic says,
Could go on forever. You sure you're a sacred sword?
It is you, sir, who lacks the proper fighting skills. A fool of a knight, not even worth slaying. You see, he thinks so too.
Well, it's your fault. You're a sad excuse for a teacher.
King Arthur flies away as Sonic helps Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Rena Rouge up, as Merlin and Excalibur explain how they need to find the Lady of the Lake. Thus, they head off, and along with this, they head to the castle town to repair Excalibur's edge. And from there, they head off deep into the woods and encounter Sir Lancelot. More fight begins as Lancelot lunges at Sonic and manages to dodge and throw him back. But Lancelot teleports back and launches chaos spheres at the group, forcing them all to dodge, and the group quickly realizes that he possesses chaos abilities like Shadow, thus not making the fight easy. Ladybug throws her yo-yo at Lancelot, who simply catches it and throws her to the ground, nearly knocking her out. But Cat Noir and Sonic quickly come in, with Sonic using his Excalibur, and Cat Noir using his baton to fend off Lancelot, where Rena Rouge helps Ladybug up. Lancelot then prepares a chaos blast, but Sonic prevents it, combining Excalibur and spin dash, throwing Lancelot flying back as Sonic and Lancelot's swords clash, as Sonic uses the opportunity to use a boost, throwing Lancelot flying, and Lancelot struggles to get back up. However, Rena Rouge quickly makes illusions of Sonic, tricking Lancelot and allowing the real Sonic to get the finishing blow, defeating Lancelot and taking Lancelot's sword, Erudite. A short while later, they manage to find the Lady of the Lake, who gives Sonic 3 trials to complete in 3 days. The first trial is to free the innocents from King Arthur's dungeon. Second, offer compassion to those in need. Third, defeat King Arthur's knights of the underworld. Thus the heroes head off and manage to rescue the innocents from King Arthur and shower them in riches. However, they end up running into a crying child. With the group approaching, Sonic then ended up asking the kid,
Hey, what's the matter? Are you lost or something?
A great big dragon attacked my village.
"A dragon?"
My mommy and my daddy and everybody away.
You know where the dragon is, kid?
It's in the big cave at the bottom of that mountain.
Alright, we're on it.
Wait, don't tell me you're going off to slay a dragon now.
Yes, we are.
What are the ladies' tests? You will never make it in time.
Yeah, maybe, but I play by my own rules.
He does.
Remember that.
You fools. Hang in there, kiddo. We'll get your folks back. The heroes head off, and along the way, they end up running into the hard-headed Sir Gawain. And after a bit of talking, the fight begins, with Gawain charging at the group. He managed to dodge, with Sonic blocking Gawain's attacks and hitting back with his own attacks, blow for blow, as Sonic then uses a homing attack, throwing Gawain up into the air. Ladybug to use a yo-yo and throw Gawain onto the ground, while Cat Noir and Rain Rouge hit him with their respective weapons, and Sonic goes in for another attack. Gawain quickly blocks it and kicks Sonic in the chest, but Sonic quickly gets back up and uses his spin dash to combine with Excalibur, throwing Gawain flying back as Ladybug calls on Lucky Charm, and ends up getting a bucket of oil. And quickly uses her Lucky Vision and realizes what she needs to do, and throws the bucket to Cat Noir and Rain Rouge, tricking Gawain using illusions as Cat Noir throws the oil on the ground, allowing Sonic to get the finishing blow and causing Gawain to go flying back, defeated as Sonic grabs his sword, that being Galaxy. The heroes head off with Excalibur reminding the group,
Appointed time has passed.
Yeah, don't remind me.
However, the kid from earlier then emerges and reveals herself to be the Lady of the Lake, and explains how Sonic needs to gather all three of the Knight's swords to dispose of King Arthur, and with Sonic already having collected 2 swords, he just needs Sir Percival's sword, and then they can defeat King Arthur. Thus, they head off and manage to find Percival, with Percival introducing herself.
am Percival, Knight of the Round Table, servant of King Arthur. State your name and your master, sir.
The dialogue plays out similar to the original game, and it's not too long before the fight begins, with Percival charging towards Sonic, who manages to dodge her slashes and fights back with his own slashes, and he uses a homing attack combined with Excalibur to throw Percival back, and allowing Ladybug to use her yo-yo to grab Percival and throw her into a nearby wall, damaging her, but she quickly gets back up and uses her fire attacks. And she is Blaze's doppelganger after all, but the heroes manage to dodge with Cat Noir uppercutting Percival, and when Rouge hits her with her flute, as Sonic quickly boosts, sending Percival flying, as Sonic uses a powerful slash, sending Percival flying back and onto the ground, defeated. Percival, after the fight, would attempt to kill herself. However, Sonic would manage to save Percival and would end up earning Excalibur's respect. And after helping Percival up, they would end up bumping into both Merlin and the Lady of the Lake, with them explaining to the heroes essentially where King Arthur is. Now, initially, Ladybug, Rain Rouge, and Cat Noir were ready to go with Sonic. However, Sonic said that he'll go alone and face off with King Arthur, alongside Excalibur. And although Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Rain Rouge push to go with Sonic, Sonic reminds them what happened last time they try to fight him. So they hesitantly agree as Sonic heads out to have his final showdown with King Arthur, which plays out the exact same as they did to the original game, with Sonic managing to finish off King Arthur and grab the scabbard of Excalibur, and groups of the other heroes, and as essentially around the time the knights are cornering them, and Sonic hands the Merlin the scabbard of Excalibur. Merlin finally unveils her true intentions to make the kingdom immortal using the scabbard of Excalibur, shocking everyone there as Black Lightning appears above them, and the castle begins to collapse, forcing them to escape as Ladybug unifies with the Horse Miraculous, allowing them all to escape and come up with a new plan, that plan being form a barrier around the castle to stop the dark magic from spreading. And thus they head off, with Ladybug going with Percival, Cat Noir going with Lancelot, and Rain Rouge going with Gawain, and they manage to form a barrier around the castle as Sonic, Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Rain Rouge head off to confront Merlin, with Ladybug unifying both the Ladybug and Bee Miraculous, Cat Noir unifying both the Cat Miraculous and Snake Miraculous, and Rain Rouge unifying with both the Fox Miraculous and Turtle Miraculous. The heroes quickly arrive at the throne room as Merlin, now transformed into Dark Queen, ends up saying,
I've been expecting you.
The heroes then proceed to ask Merlin why she did this, and Marina gives the same explanation that she did in the original game. However, Sonic would end up saying that the kingdom's going to be doomed either way. However, Merlin would end up saying that no, with her in control, nothing's going to be doomed. However, Sonic would end up saying that they had to stop her, and thus the fight would begin. However, during the fight, Excalibur would in fact be split in half, shocking the heroes as Merlin simply knocks Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Rain Rouge aside as Sonic continues to get attacked with Merlin's tentacles, or Dark Queen's tentacles. Dark Queen ends up telling Sonic to stand down, however Sonic's not giving up that easily, and so all of a sudden, golden light ends up surrounding Sonic. The Lady of the Lake quickly realizes what's happening and ends up telling the other knights at the round table.
Lost light of the sacred sword! Quick, your swords!
The knights throw their swords to the light as the light travels towards Sonic, and he becomes Excalibur, with Calibur being restored in the form of Excalibur as the knights and miraculous holders look on in amazement, and the Lady of the Lake, including the Lady of the Lake, as Excalibur charges forth, and the final battle begins with Lady Beast, Negative War, and Turtle Rouge jumping in to assist Excalibur. Dark Queen makes an invisible wall to protect herself as Excalibur tries to break through it with the help of Lady Beast, Negative War, and Turtle Rouge, but is struggling as Dark Queen then fires multiple energy blasts, forcing the group to dodge, but allowing Excalibur to use that energy blast to throw them back at the invisible wall, destroying it, allowing Excalibur to get some hits on the Dark Queen, who bites back with energy blast with Turtle Rouge into protecting Excalibur from, as saying the war uses a second chance each time Excalibur loses, and after a while, Lady B uses Venom on Dark Queen, causing her to be frozen in place, allowing Excalibur to get the finishing blow, thus defeating Dark Queen and causing her to turn back into Merlin. Everything turns back to normal as Merlin falls on the ground and Sonic deactivates his Excalibur transformation, and the other miraculous holders ununify their miraculouses as Sonic approaches Merlin and hands her a flower and talks to her for a little bit, as the Knights of Excalibur offer their congratulations to the Bluebird.
Well done, Sir Sonic.
Thanks to you guys.
You can say that again.
To think King Arthur was but an illusion.
The Knights of the Round Table must now disband.
What foolishness is this?
What are you saying then?
Have you forgotten who I am? I am the sacred sword Calibur. I am the one who decides who is worthy of the crown.
The three knights and three miraculous holders stare shockingly at Sonic while the Lady of the Lake smiles.
Then you are the one and true King Arthur? Me?
All three knights bow down to him, as do the three miraculous holders, as Sonic gets up saying,
Hey, cut that out!
"Yes, King Sonic." Ha ha, very funny. The miraculous holders laugh as Merlin opens a portal, allowing them to go back home, as the heroes wave goodbye to the knights and head back to their world. Meanwhile, we see Dr. Eggman doing some research on some alien creatures, those creatures being Wisp, as he turns to Shadowmoth and says, "What we should do next, but it will take a while to be ready, so can you keep them busy?" "I can, Doctor." "Good." Eggman laughs evilly, and that's where we're going to end this what if for right now. So, what did you guys think? Did you all expect Shadow to be invited to Gabriel's party and try to figure out who Shadowmoth is? Or did you all expect Rain Rouge to get involved in the events of Sonic and the Black Knight? Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure you guys go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.